Okay, so what the point of this video is I'm going to take you through step by step, and I'm going to show you how to do the Buffalo photo shoot flyer, and hopefully this will give you a rounded enough base that you'll be able to complete the last 3 projects on your own. Remember too, all of the content in regards to how to complete the projects is in the Word Project 1 section where we did the Found Dog flyer from. So keep that in mind if you run into problems when you're doing the other 3 assignments. Now I'm going to show you how to download the files. So I'm already logged into Angel. Now I'm going to come up and click on the Lessons tab. And then I'm going to go to Word Project 1. Click on the Buffalo photo shoot files. And then I'm going to click on the Apply 1-1. And then I'm going to get a page like this, and it's got a link here. That's my document. And I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And then regardless of what type of browser you're using, it's going to ask whether or not you want to open it, or save it as something else. I'm just going to go ahead and say save. And then you might get a little pop-up like I did here at the bottom of my screen that lets you know your download is complete. And so for me, I'm going to click here on Open Folder. And it's going to take me to my Downloads folder. So if you look where the mouse cursor is, it shows me right there. Now, if you don't know how to get to the Downloads folder, or you don't get an Open Folder option like I had, it's very easy to get to in Windows 7. You're just going to go to your Start menu, click on Computer, and then over here on the left side, you've got your task pane, and second from the top is Downloads. And so when I click on that, there's my 1-1 Buffalo photo shoot flyer. I'm going to go ahead and double click to open that. Okay, so now we need to go and get our Buffalo photo shoot picture. So I'm going to go back to Internet Explorer. And here under the Lessons tab, I'm going to click on Buffalo Photo Shoot Files. And so when I do that, it's going to bring me here to my list with my 1-1 photo shoot flyer. It's also going to show me my photo shoot picture. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Then I'm going to right click on the picture and go to Save Picture As. I'm going to left click. I get my Save As dialog box. The picture is named Buffalo. You can rename it if you wish. I'm just going to keep the default. And then I'm going to go ahead and click Save. Dialog box closes and my picture has been downloaded. I'm then going to go back to my Apply 1-1 Buffalo. Okay, and so then we're going to come down here and click on our Apply 1-1 Buffalo. Now on my computer, I only have Windows 2007, so the appearance of mine is going to differ slightly than the 2010 edition, but I would put money that most of you probably only have 2007, so I think it's going to be pretty straightforward for you. If you do have 2010, you're just going to have extra buttons and sections like the font group, and so you would have the text effect option available to you, which I do not have it available for me, so I'm going to show you how to modify your headline using WordArt instead. And so I'm going to go ahead and start going through the steps in the book. So the first step tells you here in the paragraph it wants you to delete the word single. So I'm going to double click on that and press backspace. Then it wants you to insert the word creeks between Twin and Buffalo. So I'm going to click just to the left of the B in Buffalo. And then I'm going to type creeks. And so then we're going to start, we're going to come down here to don't forget to bring your camera. And we're going to replace the period with an exclamation mark. And so I'm going to click just to the right of that period and press backspace once. I'm then going to do Shift 1 to put in our exclamation point. And then I'm going to come up here to our Buffalo photo shoot. I'm going to click on that line. And I'm going to wait to center this until we've done our word art. And so I'm going to go ahead and highlight this line. I'm going to make the same font modifications that are listed in the book. So I'm going to come up here and click on my 11 for my 11-point font. And then I'm going to type in 48 and press enter. I'm then going to come over here and click in this box where it says Calibri. I'm going to start typing the word impact, and as soon as I press I, notice that the text changes. So once I have the full word impact here, I'm going to go ahead and press enter, and so it modifies our appearance. I'm then going to change this to all capital letters, and the way I'm going to do that is here in my font group, I've got a button with a big A, lowercase a. I'm going to click that and go to uppercase. And then after that, I'm going to modify the overall theme of our entire flyer. And to do that, I'm going to click here on my page layout tab. Over here on the left side, I have my themes group. Now what a theme does is it basically overrides the way that a typical document looks, and so it's going to change the appearance of the font. In some cases, themes will change the color. In this case, it's not going to, but some of them do. So it's just an overall change in general to the whole document. I'm going to click on this themes button here, and I'm going to click on aspect. And so as I go through these different buttons, you can see the live preview of how it's going to change it. I'm going to click on aspect. It makes the change. I'm then going to modify my headline here by making it into a word art. So I'm going to click here on my insert tab. I'm going to make sure my Buffalo photo shoot is still highlighted. I'm then over here in the text group going to click on word art. And then I'm going to come down a couple of rows. I'm going to click on this one here that's kind of an orangish, yellowish. And so when I do that, it's going to bring up a dialog box here. Let me add any text if I want to. I don't, so I'm going to go ahead and click on OK. And so now it makes that conversion. Now we just need to change the gradient so that it looks like what's pictured in the text. And to do that, I'm going to come up here in my Word Art Styles group. I'm going to click on Shape Fill. I'm going to come down here to Gradient. And then I'm going to slide over to the right and go down to the bottom and click on More Gradient. So look where my cursor is. So I'm going Shape Fill, Gradient, More Gradients. And then that brings up the Fill Effects dialog box. I'm going to come down here to my different shading styles. I'm going to click on Horizontal. Now in the book, it's got kind of a dark orange leading to a lighter orange. So for color 1, I'm going to click that and I'm going to choose my slightly lighter orange color. So I'm just going to go with standard here, called Orange Accent 1. So first row, 5th option. And then for my color 2, I'm going to click that. I'm going to go to my, let's see, 5th row, 5th option. Says Orange Accent 1, darker 25%. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. It gives me my sample here of how it's going to appear once I apply it. At that point, I'm going to go ahead and click on OK. And so that dialog box closes. You see that the Buffalo photo shoot is now colored properly. Now, if you look around it, you see sizing handles, just like if we were putting putting a picture into the Word document. If you remember from resizing Bailey's pictures in the Found Dog flyer. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come grab this handle here on the right side, middle. I'm going to left drag until I've got about an inch between that dashed line and the right side of my page. I'm going to let go, and so the word art expands to fill my space. So now I've got my Buffalo photo shoot. Okay, so now we're going to modify the rest of our font. So I am now on step 7 if you're following along in the Word Chapter 1 book on page WD54. And so I'm going to come over here to Sunday's second to last line. I'm going to left click once, and you should get your blinking insertion point back, and your word art is no longer selected. I'm then going to hold down my left mouse button and drag my mouse cursor up and through my paragraph all the way to the word join. I'm going to let go. Now make sure that all of this is highlighted. You don't want a little bit left behind, because then when we modify our appearance, it's not going to change. So I want to make sure all of this is blue. I'm then going to come up here to my font size where it says 11. I'm going to click there and change that to 20 and press enter. So there's my size adjustment for that. I'm then going to highlight my signature line, so this don't forget to bring your camera. I'm going to left click to the right of the exclamation point and left drag through the word don't. I'm going to come up and make this a 26 point font size. And then in my paragraph, I'm going to highlight from the end of the word buffalo in the second line. So I'm going to left click and hold. And then I'm going to drag through the word hundreds. And I'm going to go ahead and let up on my mouse button. And then I'm going to apply an underline style to this. So at this point, I can hold down my control key and tap U, and that would apply the underline. I could also go to my font group and click on the U with the underline beneath it. So you can use either of those two methods to apply it to our hundreds of buffalo. And so then we're going to apply some italicize. So I'm going to find the word every here in this last line of the paragraph. So Creek's Buffalo Farm every weekend in May. So I am going to double click on the word every, and that should highlight the word for you. And so then I'm either going to hold down my control key and tap I, or I can come up here to the font group and click on my slanty I for italicize. And then we're going to apply some bullets. So I'm going to slide here, down here, just above our signature line. So to the right of Sundays. I'm going to hold down my left mouse button and click up and through the word cost. I'm then going to come to my paragraph group. And then I'm going to click on my little bullets here in the upper left corner of the paragraph group. And so shifts over a little bit, applies the change. And sorry, I'm reading out of the book as I'm doing this so that it matches what you're seeing at home. Okay, so what it wants you to do is it wants you to shift the last two bulleted lines. So it wants you to move questions down to where hours is located. So then your bullet list is going to go cost, hours, questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this last bulleted section, so Sundays up through hours. I'm then going to hold down my left mouse button, and your cursor is going to be the regular mouse cursor, but it's going to have a little faded box in the lower right corner. And then you see as I'm dragging my mouse, there's a dashed line that follows it. I'm going to move that line, drag it up until it is just before the Q in questions. I'm then going to let go, and it's going to switch our two bullets. So then it wants us to bold our bullet categories in each group. So I'm going to highlight, I'm going to left click and hold to the right of the colon after questions. I'm going to highlight through questions. I'm then going to make that bold. I'm going to do the same thing to the word hours. I'm going to do the same thing to the word cost. So those are all now bold. And so then we're going to change our appearance of the color scheme of these three words. So for cost, I'm going to come up here in my font group. I'm going to click the little drop down for my font color. And then we're going to do a green here. So it's going to be the last color in the green column. So it's going to be the 8th column, 6th row down, and it's called dark green accent 4, darker 50%. So if you look where my mouse cursor is, you should also have a color palette that matches. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. I'm then going to highlight my word hours. Now at this point, that green has been selected, so all I need to do is just click on the A with the underline beneath it. And then I'm going to do the same thing to questions. And so now we've got our color changes. Alright, so then we're going to modify the text in our signature line. And so it's wanting us to give it an overall appearance of a green background against white font. So all we're going to do is we're going to apply a background color to our "Don't forget to bring your camera." And then we're going to change the font color to white. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my signature line here. Now the fill function for this line is going to be in the paragraph group. It's going to be right here. So I've got a paint can. And I'm going to click the drop down arrow. And we're going to go to that same green color that we had before. So it's going to be that dark green, accent 4, darker, 50%. So then I'm going to go ahead and click that. I'm going to highlight my text and I'm going to make it bold. And then for the moment, I'm not going to worry about resizing it. If the book doesn't give the instructions to do it, we'll come back at the end and make sure it's all on one line. And so then we're going to insert our buffalo picture. So what we need to do is we need to get an empty line between our heading and our paragraph. So I'm going to click to the left of the word join. So if you look where my cursor is, I'm going to press enter once. I'm then going to click back on the line that is now between Buffalo Photo Shoot and Join Us. I'm going to go to my Insert tab. Then here in the Illustrations group, I'm going to click on Picture. And it should take you to the Pictures folder. And here's the Buffalo Photo Shoot photo that we downloaded a little bit ago. And I'm going to double click that and drops it right in there for us. I'm just going to kind of scroll up and down, take a look at it. It's looking good so far. And so then we're going to make some modifications to its appearance. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change our picture styles. And so if I look at these styles, here to the right side I've got some little arrows. I'm going to click on the bottom one here, which is a down arrow with a line above it. That's called the More button. So from here on in the course, whenever I refer to the More button, I'm referring to a button with this symbol. I'm going to click that. And we're going to find this picture here with the slanted corners. And so it's called Snip Diagonal Corner White. And so I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And so you see it kind of trims away some of those corner sections of the photo. I'm then going to come over to Picture Effects. And then I'm going to go down to Glow. And we're going to do dark green. Accent 4, so it's going to be third row down, fourth column. And so I'm going to go ahead and click on that color. And so then you can see that it's kind of framed around the buffalo photo itself. And so that's all the modification we're going to have to make to our photo size unless it kicks us onto a second page. Okay, so I'm sitting here looking at this, and I would imagine that you're probably thinking the same thing I am, which is that mine looks nothing like what's in the book. And so looking at the book and reading through all the steps, what they don't tell you is that their margins have been resized. So the copy that you download from Angel has 1-inch page margins, as where the one that's being pictured on figure 175 has 1/2-inch margins. So we're going to have to modify those to get it looking anywhere close to the copy they have pictured. And so I'm going to have to come up to our page layout tab, click on margins, and then I'm going to select narrow. And so I go ahead and click that. And so our appearance changes quite a bit. You've got a lot of space at the bottom of your page now. Your Join Us paragraph has stretched out a little bit. And so now what we need to do is we need to resize our picture a little bit. So I'm going to click on my picture. And I'm going to left grab and drag the lower left handle until there's roughly a 1/2 inch of space between my picture and the right border. And then I'm going to let go. And so it resizes there. Our paragraph is still off a little bit from what's pictured in the book, but as long as it's on one sheet of paper, I don't really care if it matches exactly. And so I'm going to leave that alone. If you want to nitpick it, that's up to you. As far as I'm concerned, looking at this copy that I have now, aside for the bad color scheme of having the orange buffalo photo shoot on a green flyer, makes no sense to me, but anyways, as it's pictured here on this video, if yours is close to that, I would consider it good to go and go ahead and drop it. Now, I know the colors and options vary depending on different versions of Office, whether or not anything was installed, and so on and so on. So, main things that I really want out of this is I want you to have some type of gradient applied to your title, whether or not that's using text effects in the 2010 version or using the word art as I showed you how to apply in the 2007. I don't care which one. Just get some type of picture style applied with a glowing background. Get your bullets in there. Modify your font color. And either apply a heading 2 style here like what we did in class with the found dog, or completing what's in the book by applying the green background to it. And so if you can fulfill those basic tasks, I would consider this a successful project. And so hopefully you get it as close as mine is, but if not, don't sweat it. I'm not here to judge too harshly. And if you have questions about the other 3 assignments after this, you can feel free to ask me. If I have to, I'll make a video on how to do those as well. But I think knowing the main points here from this Buffalo photo shoot, I'm confident that you will be able to complete the last 3 projects successfully. So hopefully this video has been a benefit to you. and I will see you on Tuesday.